Hi guys, Mr. Secrets here. Obviously today I'm going to be talking about Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch. Yeti, there's one down in Louisiana around there called the skunk monster or something like that. And this has literally been sighted all around the world in every continent except for Antarctica. It's been said Australia, Asia, Africa, Europe, North America, South America, everywhere except for Antarctica. And just in the US alone, I feel like it's been cited the most, at least the most densely. Obviously in Asia and Africa, and it's more spread out. Like I've looked at a map of it, but in the United States, literally almost every state, I just have a couple written down right here: Alaska, Arkansas, Delaware, Florida, Oregon, Maine, Missouri, and they're just everywhere. Down in Louisiana, California, Montana, literally everywhere. North, east, south, west, up to Canada, obviously. But the question is, how did Bigfoot get here? Like, where did it originate? My theory: Bigfoot is simply a descendant of, like, the original Russians. Now, that may sound strange concerning Russians. If you think Russians right now, you think of modern day. But I'm not talking about actual humans like Homo erectus. I'm talking about the, like, descendant, like ancestors, I mean, of them, just the ones that lived there. Because when you think of Russians, you think of vodka, big, hairy men, right? Because obviously the Bigfoot's in America, which that's what I'm going to be talking about right now. Just the Sasquatch in America. They are all hairy, huge, big, and muscular. Except for the skunk ape. That's what it was called. Yes, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. See, the main sightings, the big Sasquatch ranges anywhere from 7 to 10 feet tall. They're huge, right? When you hear American, what do you associate that with? Fast food, guns, short, unhealthily fat, literally obese. We're one of the most obese countries in the world. And so obviously Bigfoot couldn't be just like genetically altered or just like some offsprout species of Americans, right? But Russians, they're one of the, like, biggest people out there, In Soviet Russia, table flip you. You think of barbaric things like that. Russians wrestle bears and eat nails for breakfast. Stuff like that. So, but how did they get here? Well, what if we go back thousands and thousands of years back to the land bridge that connected what would be what we call today North America, Europe, Asia, and Russia over there. That connected them. And so what if the Russian Bigfoot, well, that's what we'll call them that. What if a group of them migrated over that in search of new food? I don't know. What if they came here and they kind of just stayed there, and then obviously the land bridge, that all happened, and it disconnected, and so they had just a population here. And that would explain why there's not that many of them. Well, there is, but obviously not as many as humans, right? Well, one, we have the Native Americans coming in however many years later. That would have thinned them out, because obviously humans are maybe slightly smarter, at least they probably would have been back then, before the Sasquatch developed higher intelligence. And so if there's only this small population, there's obviously going to be inbreeding, and that would lead to some sick children, and not as big of a population as we have today, obviously. And that's why they can stay hidden. There aren't that many of them. Maybe there's just a single group of nomads roaming around the country trying to stay out of, like, human sight, right? You know, trying to stay under the radar. Anyway, okay, so now let's go down to the skunk ape down in Louisiana and Mississippi, down there in the bayou. Well, there are reports of that. Small, fat, and it reeks. That's why they call it the skunk ape. It looks like a smaller, fat version of Bigfoot. Now, that obviously could be American. What if the government captured one of, like, Bigfoot? They captured one of this wandering nomad tribe of big feet. Let's call them that. Just big feet for plural. What if they captured one of those, and so they crossbreeded a human and one of the big feet? No, let's call them Sasquatchians. That sounds a little bit better. They crossbred a human and a Sasquatchian, and they created the skunk ape. And so that possibly escaped, or maybe they just didn't want to handle it anymore, and so they dumped it down there. I don't know, maybe in, like, a reserve. I don't know. But anyway, so there's that explains that government crossbreeding, or it could simply be a natural breeding of a Sasquatchian and a human. But we don't exactly know how human some of these Sasquatchians look. Maybe we only see the more ape-like and hairy ones, but the more humanoid ones can come into town and get, like, pass off as just merely big, like, hairy humans, like Russians, you know? God, I'm thirsty. The possibilities are endless, but basically, strip it down to the wire. This is what I think. Sasquatchians here in North America that we see today came across the land bridge and lived where the Russians do today. So obviously they would have been hairier, bigger to survive in that harsh climate. They came here over the land bridge, got stuck here, interbred, and that would have, and just tried to survive, but that wouldn't have allowed their population to bloom. Obviously, the interbreeding, and so they're stuck here. Possibly some of them look more humanoid to possibly create a new variety of the skunk ape down south. Maybe. See, you never know. That's just my theory, though. And if you'd like to comment your possible theories, or even suggest what I should do my next video on, then please comment below. There's so many possibilities, and I like to leave it open and hear other ideas. Thank you. I'll be back next week with more theories. See you later.